This mental golf book will change everything for your game. Zen Golf is one of the best-selling mental game golf books in the world, and it's one of my all-time favorites. Today, I want to share 7 tips from Zen Golf to help you play better in 7 minutes or less. Hey, my name's Michael Leonard, and I'm the creator of Wicked Smart Golf. I've been a golf writer for the past 5 years since quitting my 9-to-5 job, and became a +2 amateur golfer here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Now, as you can tell, I love golf books. I probably got 40 of them sitting back there. But Zen Golf is definitely one of my favorites because it really does incorporate a lot of mental game, short game, and mindfulness together to help you play better golf every single time you tee it up. It has absolutely contributed to one of the reasons I had my top season in 2022 and wanted to share my 7 biggest tips here with you today. Tip number 1 happens before you ever even get to the golf course, and that's what you're doing on your warm-up routine. A lot of times golfers just hit a few balls, throw a few balls down on the green, and then rush off to the first tee. But the author, Dr. Joseph Parent, talks about the importance of actually playing several holes on the range. By creating imaginary targets and acting like you're already on the golf course, by the time you do get to the first hole, you're going to feel like you're warmed up and you've already went through your pre-shot routine. This is going to set you up for success and hopefully help you overcome some of those first tee jitters. The second tip from Dr. Parent is to make sure you are spending some time on the putting green before you go out there. But not like how most golfers do. As I mentioned, most golfers just kind of throw a few balls down there and just start randomly putting 20 or 30 foot putts. But instead, I love his strategy. He says to first putt to the fringe. Set some balls down about 20 feet away and putt to the fringe. Not trying to make it in any specific hole, you are just trying to learn green speed. But the trick is to not raise your head up. So instead, you try and feel the putt. So what you want to do is actually hit the putt and just think, that's going to be short, that's going to be perfect, or that's going to be long. After a few putts, you will quickly learn the green speed without even putting to a hole. The next thing to do is to set tees at 10, 20, and 30 feet. Then you want to putt to those in both directions. So for example, as you can see here, I'm putting towards the 10 foot, then the 20, then the 30. I walk down to the 30 foot mark and then I putt backwards. I do this 2 to 3 times, usually on a slope, so that way I can get to learn the speed a little bit more. And that way I have a firm understanding of the green speed before teeing off. Because I'm sure you know that if you struggle with green speed, it makes for a long day on the golf course. So do these 2 drills on the putting green, and with your other warm-up routine, you will be set up for success before you even walk up to that first tee box. Tip number 3 is to be very careful about what you say to your mind. As he mentions in the book, a lot of golfers say, hey, this is a right edge putt. What golfers mean by that, of course, is that I need to start this at the right edge because it's going to break a little bit left, and that way it'll go in the middle of the cup. But the problem is if we just keep thinking right edge, right edge, right edge, right edge, our mind only thinks about the right edge and not thinks about the middle of the cup. So the problem is our mind will actually instinctively push the ball sometimes to get it towards the right edge because that's what we're focused on. So it's okay to have the start line of the right edge, but make sure we are visualizing and focusing on the ball going in the middle of the cup. Don't forget, your mind is a magnet, and so it's important to focus on what you want on the golf course. One of the biggest mistakes most golfers make is focus on what they don't want, like the right edge or the out of bounds or the water. Focus on what you want to play better golf immediately. Tip number 4 is to stay present, both with your mind and body. As you know, golfers are kind of time travelers out there. Sometimes we're in the future thinking about this amazing score that we're going to do. Other times we're in the past dwelling on a 3-putt or a double bogey that killed the round. When in reality, though, to play your best golf, you have to stay present. As Dr. Parent said, the past is history, the future is a mystery. Being alive in this moment is a gift. That's why they call it the present. Don't get me wrong, it's a little bit corny, but it makes a huge difference. I used to constantly worry about the future when I was playing bad, or even when I was playing good. I would just think, oh, if I just make par, or if I don't screw up, then I'll score well. In reality, though, you have no idea what's going to happen in the future. If you're on the 11th tee and you're worried about what's going to happen on 18, you are setting yourself up for failure. So stay present during the round to play your best golf. Tip number 5 is to make sure we are walking up to the ball fully prepared. So many golfers just kind of walk up there and then all of a sudden when we're standing over the ball, we feel the wind or we think I don't have enough club or oh my gosh, that water's short, and we start having all these negative thoughts. Instead of stepping back, a lot of golfers get up there, make an uncommitted swing, don't have a target visualized in their mind, and hit a lot of bad shots. But this is something you can control. If you're not standing over the golf ball with 100% confidence, step off. Before you walk up to the golf ball, you want to be 100% sure this is the right club, the right shot, and the right target. Of course, things are going to happen sometimes. A wind might kick up, you realize the lie was above or below your feet. When that happens, step off, regroup, go through your pre-shot routine, and step up to it again. Now, this shouldn't happen every single time or you're going to slow up pace of play and be a pain in the ass to everyone you're playing with, But if you're not 100% committed, especially on a shot that you deem important, make sure to step back until you're focused, 100% ready to go, and then pull the trigger. Number 6 is to stop worrying about your transition and downswing during your swing. A lot of golfers try and time this correctly, but if you think about it, the golf swing only takes about 1 to 2 seconds. So you really don't have a lot of conscious control of what happens on the downswing. Instead, Dr. Parent says, look at your backswing, as that is gonna create your transition and downswing. A great example of this is my old swing. As you can tell here, I used to be way slower on the way back. This slow takeaway led to a slow backswing, which led to a rush transition, and overall, not nearly as much swing speed. But what I've done over the years is speed up my backswing significantly, which actually has led to a better takeaway and much better transition. Plus, my swing speed has increased dramatically. In some of these earlier videos, my average swing speed was about 103 to 104 miles per hour. Now, my average swing speed is closer to 110 to 114 miles per hour. That might not sound like a lot, but for every hour per mile extra that you add to your driver, you are getting 3 extra yards of distance. So if I had 10 miles per hour, that's 30 yards of extra distance. So think about that. If you want to hit it longer, stop thinking low and slow on the way back. An old piece of swing advice that really doesn't work anymore. As you can see from Bryson and these long drive guys, take it back fast for a better transition and more club head speed. The cool thing is you can test this out on the range and immediately see the results. So if you feel like you rush the transition or get quick, start speeding up your backswing and watch your swing improve. A good app I like to use for this is Tour Tempo. It's based on a book by the same name and one of the most effective apps ever. The final tip from Dr. Parent and Zen Golf is to make sure you have a good post-shot routine. First, you want to reinforce your good shot. Most of us just think we should be hitting good shots all the time, but as you know, it's golf. That's not going to happen. So when we hit bad shots, we get annoyed. When we hit good shots, we don't celebrate. You need to mix that up. Forget the bad shots quickly and reinforce your good shots, so that way you're more likely to remember them, and again, upgrade your self-image to becoming a better golfer. To minimize those emotions on the bad shots. Don't forget, your mind is wired for negativity by something called negativity bias. Mind is a survival mechanism above all else. So if you're constantly getting mad and really emotional and throwing clubs and screaming and belittling yourself after all these bad shots, and you have a lot of emotion, you are going to be more likely to remember that. And again, we do not want to remember bad shots. So don't even act like they happen. Get over them, laugh it off quickly. These are just some of the lessons, again, inside Zen Golf, and we'll do a different review on Zen putting as well, because there's a ton of great putting tips to help you perform way more consistently on the greens. But I highly recommend this book, and the links to it for the audiobook and the book are going to be down below in the description. If you like this video and want to watch more book reviews coming up, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, and turn on the bell for notifications. I really appreciate the support, and as always, I hope you have an epic day on the links.